What is going on, trans brothers and sisters? It's Kelly here, slash, I always say Cole slash Derek, but I think I've officially made a decision, so I'm going to go ahead and call myself Derek. What's up, guys? It's Derek. Weird. Anyway, it is week 16, and the topic this week is FTM, or for those of you that may not know what that means, it's female to male versus lesbian or butch lesbian or whatever. I mean, typically, back when I referred to myself as a lesbian, which I sometimes still do because I'm not quite where I would like to be yet in my transition. Easier to explain at this point to people that may not know. I would consider myself a butch dyke. Yeah, I mean, I've never really liked the sound of the word dyke, and I've definitely never liked the sound of the word lesbian. Gay was always the way that I went. For some reason, looking back on it now, it makes a little bit more sense. Lesbian to me has just always sounded like a, don't take offense to this, but it sounded like a gross word. I don't know why. Like, just to me, it was just like, ooh, I just didn't like the sound of it. But I don't know. I guess I don't really know how to explain the differences between FTM and lesbians. I mean, clearly, I've lived in the shoes of both. I mean, technically, I was a lesbian. I was interested in women. I mean, I think the technical aspect of being a lesbian is being, and correct me if I'm wrong, I guess maybe I never really knew this, but, because society tends to think that if you're sleeping with a woman, that automatically makes you a lesbian, but that's not true. I mean, there are a lot of women that sleep with women out there that don't identify as a lesbian. They may identify as bisexual, they may identify as straight, or they may just not give a shit. But I think the true definition of really being a lesbian is to be sexually attracted to being a female and being sexually attracted to another female or other females, on a consistent basis, sexually attracted to somebody of your same gender when your gender happens to be that of a female. That is the technical definition of a lesbian. I mean, the technical definition of an FTM is a female to male, transgender, transsexual. I mean, however you want to branch that in there. But it's somebody that's transitioning. Whether or not they are physically transitioning with hormones and with surgeries, they could be just, doing a natural transition, or I don't know. I mean, everybody's kind of got their own take on it. I mean, there could be a lot of FTMs out there that don't even really consider themselves transitioning, I guess. Maybe they just, I don't know. I mean, I think I have a friend, actually, that I met, and I was really confused by him at first, actually, because this was one of my first experiences with a trans guy, and I'm pretty sure, I don't talk to him much, he lives in a different state, but he's an acquaintance of mine, I should say, but via Facebook and all that, he does refer to himself with male pronouns. He is, when I first met him, he referred to himself as a very masculine, not a woman's name in any way. And now he does go by a very androgynous name, which could be either or. But, I did notice that over time, that he was referring to himself with male pronouns. But when I had told him that I was doing this transition, he told me that that's great, that's great that I've decided to start taking hormones. That's not something he's decided on doing, or something that he's decided against doing. So, I mean, there you go. I mean, I actually don't know if he considers himself a female to male, transgender or transsexual, or any of the above. So I mean, I guess you could umbrella him into the FTM category as well. So I don't know. That's a really tough debate, and I guess it's kind of a vague question. I did kind of go over some of your guys' videos, the other videos on this channel, and I know Christine was talking if she identified as male to female, a transsexual, transgendered, or a tranny, and I think she kind of touched on the fact that a tranny, quote, typically generally means more transvestite. And I feel like that's true. I mean, when it comes to the derogatory aspect of that term, which when you say tranny, I mean, you think of a lot of people use it as a derogatory term, and I think they're more or less referring to men who dress in women's clothing, not on a regular basis. So a transvestite, I mean, somebody who enjoys dressing up in women's clothing. And I believe the technical definition of a transvestite is somebody who does it for sexual purposes or sexual pleasure. So I don't know. She was kind of touching on that, how she doesn't obviously identify as a tranny, and almost, you know, it sounds like it's kind of an offensive word to her, and I agree. It is, to me, an offensive word. You know, but that she doesn't really identify as a male to female either, you know, regardless of what steps she's taken to do her own transition. She identifies as a female. So I don't even know where I'm really going with this, but I mean, there are so many different aspects of female to male and male to female. Yeah, it's a process. Yeah, you know, in my particular instance, I guess that you could call me a female to male. I can't, again, technically, I think a transsexual is somebody who's had surgeries. So I guess I would be a female to male transgendered person at this point in my life, but I guess I don't really consider myself that. I mean, I just consider myself, you know, if somebody asks, yes, I'm transitioning from female to male, so I guess you could call me an FTM, but I just would rather be called Derek at this point in my life. But I would rather be called just me, you know, a person. You know, anybody who is ready, you know, any quote lesbian that's ready to take the steps, you know, if they feel like that's something they want to do, if they want to transition and start taking hormones and have surgeries to look more masculine or feel more complete within themselves, then great, that's fine. You know, I know that there are a couple of kind of hateful bloggers out there, you know, YouTubers out there that have a pretty big issue with lesbian versus female to male, and that's their own problem. I mean, you know, I think I watched another video on people saying that it was becoming kind of trendy or whatever. Well, I mean, maybe it is, but people aren't going to take those drastic steps in their life unless they're willing and ready to do it. And they're probably not going to get a doctor's approval or, you know, a therapist's approval if they're not ready to do it. So regardless, butch lesbian, female to male, whatever you want to be, I mean, it's all good, you know. So whatever you identify yourself as, that's all that matters. You know, find a support system around you. I'm sure, I mean, obviously you can find support here. Lots of other places lots of other YouTubers, you know, are out there to be supportive no matter what you identify yourself as. So yeah, female to male versus lesbian. I don't know, it's all the same. We're all people. We all rock. So that's about all I gotta say. Just 8.5 minutes of rambling. Does it surprise you? Probably not. I just wanted to show you real quick too, because I'm at it. Well, it doesn't really look that bad. We're having some nasty weather here in Minnesota, so I was going to show you the nice little weather radar because it looks like we're getting consumed by reds and purples and swirls and stuff, but I guess we have a break in it right now, so hopefully I will see you guys next week. Peace out.